let's try and answer a few basic questions. First, what is Donald Trump's foreign policy? Because it seems to be little more than repeating a single phrase.
America first. America first.
The only president who combines the sordid extramarital affairs of a young JFK with the dead-eyed puffiness of a post-Watergate Richard Nixon. Wow. You know, it says something about the Trump era that the phrase, "the same worms will eat him too," actually qualifies as a hopeful thought.
Trump's Twitter feed just exploded, and it wasn't because of his usual 3 a.m. cheeseburger-induced rants. Nope, John Oliver dropped the S-bomb, sad, and now Trump's losing it. It's like watching a live-action Looney Tunes, but instead of Elmer Fudd chasing Bugs Bunny, it's Trump chasing his own tail. Who knew one little word could cause such a big orange meltdown? Let's dive into this comedy goldmine. This has always blown my mind a little bit. 91% that watch this show regularly haven't subscribed. Could I ask you for a small favor before we start? If you like this show, what we do here, and want to support us, the free simple way you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. Remember when Trump discovered the words ad and couldn't stop using it? It was like watching a toddler learn a new word, except this toddler had access to Twitter and the nuclear codes. Trump's Twitter feed became a sad parade of, well, sad. It was like he was playing some bizarre game of how many times can I use this ad before people start to think I'm a broken record.
The election is in full swing right now, and it's pretty much your usual campaign. Candidates offering policy proposals, trading barbs, and occasionally getting convicted of 34 felonies and complaining about the judge. Trump definitely doesn't know what the word literally means, but given his inability to talk about the Bible, it is possible that he doesn't know what crucified means either. Though I could be wrong, maybe Jesus got nailed to planks because of his hush payments to a porn star. I don't know. He is currently slightly ahead of Biden in the polls, so there is a pretty good chance he could be back in the White House next year. And given that, it's worth talking about what he plans to do if he gets there, because Trump does have a second-term platform.
But why was Trump so obsessed with this 3-letter word? Was it because it was short enough for his tiny hands to type? Or maybe because it perfectly summed up how most of America felt during his presidency? Whatever the reason, Trump used sad like most people use punctuation. It was his Twitter period. You might think I'm exaggerating, but the numbers don't lie. Research shows Trump tweeted sad over 500 times during his presidency. That's more times than he probably hugged his own children. It's like he was trying to set some kind of world record for the most repetitive use of a single word by a world leader. Congrats, Donald, you win the sad Olympics. Trump's sad became so common, people started using it to mock him. It was like a linguistic boomerang. He threw it out there, and it came right back to hit him in his orange face. Comedians had a field day with it. Trump's vocabulary is sad, his policies are sad, his hair, well, that's just tragic. But here's where it gets interesting. Some eggheads with fancy degrees, you know, the kind Trump would call overrated, actually studied this sad phenomenon. Psychologists suggest Trump's sad fixation might reveal his own insecurities. It's like he was projecting his own feelings onto everything else.
Project 2025, which I know sounds like a sexy CW sci-fi drama, starring Ashanti, Chad Michael Murray, and Turtle from Entourage, but incredibly, it's even worse than that.
The 2025 Presidential Transition Project
brings together conservative organizations
to ensure the policy and personnel are in place
on January 20th, 2025.
Project 2025 aims to do for Trump's whole presidency what the Federalist Society did for his judicial picks, give him a step-by-step game plan that he simply has to execute and then take credit for.
The economy is sad. No, Donald, that's just you looking in the mirror. Now, you might be wondering, what happens when someone turns Trump's favorite word against him? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because we're about to find out. Trump's sad obsession set him up for an epic comedic takedown. It's like he spent years building a giant "kick me" sign and then acted surprised when someone finally took a swing. But before we get to that, let's take a moment to appreciate the sheer ridiculousness of it all. The leader of the free world reduced to a walking, talking ad emoji. It's like watching a Shakespeare play. If Shakespeare had a vocabulary of about 50 words and a serious Twitter addiction, Trump's sad saga is a cautionary tale for us all. It's a reminder that words have power, even tiny 3-letter ones. And when you overuse them, well, that power can come back to bite you right in the kofaf. Remember when Trump couldn't stop tweeting Zad like it was going out of style? Well, John Oliver decided it was time for a linguistic lesson in karma. With weeks of research and perfect comedic timing, Oliver was about to serve Trump a sad sandwich he wouldn't soon forget. The question is, would Trump's ego survive the burn? John Oliver, the British funnyman with a knack for taking down politicians, had set his sights on the orange-tinted elephant in the room. His show, Last Week Tonight, isn't your average comedy gig. It's like a political deep dive with a side of belly laughs. Oliver and his team of word wizards spent weeks digging through Trump's Twitter trash, studying his language patterns like they were decoding an alien message. Spoiler alert, the message was mostly sad with a sprinkle of kofef.
More than 100 conservative organisations have come together to work on this, and they're all there. You've got the Heritage Foundation, Liberty University, the NRA, Turning Point USA, Rodeo Clowns for Trump. They've even produced a 900-page handbook on their goals, which are sweeping. It proposes dismantling NOAA, the agency that tracks hurricanes and protects marine life, because it's, quote, one of the main drivers of the climate change alarm industry. States that pornography should be outlawed and the people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned. And these proposals are extreme because the people who wrote them are extreme.
The show's writers weren't just throwing darts at a Trump-shaped board. No, they were crafting a verbal masterpiece designed to hit Trump where it hurt most, right in his oversized ego. It's like they were preparing a roast, but instead of a pig, they had a whole Trump on the spit. Oliver, being the pro he is, rehearsed his delivery more times than Trump's had wives. He knew timing was everything. One wrong pause and the joke could fall flatter than Trump's hair in a rainstorm. The audience settled in, popcorn at the ready, waiting for Oliver to drop the comedy bomb. As Oliver looked straight into the camera, you could almost hear the collective intake of breath. The pause was so dramatic, you'd think he was about to reveal the secret ingredient in Trump's orange glow. Spoiler? It's probably just Cheeto dust. Then, with the precision of a surgeon wielding a scalpel made of sarcasm, Oliver dropped the S-bomb. Sad. That's it, one word, but oh, what a word. It was like watching a linguistic boomerang in action. Trump's favorite insult thrown back at him with pinpoint accuracy. But here's the kicker. It wasn't just what Oliver said, it was how he said it. He managed to pack more meaning into that one word than Trump's entire Twitter archive. It was a masterclass in comedic timing, delivered with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer to a snowflake. Oliver's approach wasn't just about getting laughs, though there were plenty of those. It was about using humor to shine a spotlight on serious issues. By turning Trump's favorite insult against him, Oliver wasn't just poking fun at the former president's limited vocabulary. He was highlighting the absurdity of a world leader who communicates like an angry toddler with a Twitter account. The segment wasn't just a comedy bit, it was a brilliant example of how to use humor to make complex political issues digestible for the average viewer. Oliver took Trump's Twitter tirades, usually about as appealing as day-old kafef, and turned them into a feast of political commentary that even the most politically apathetic could enjoy. As the laughter died down and the dust settled, one thing was clear. Oliver had done more than just mock Trump. He'd held up a mirror to the absurdity of modern politics, where a single word can become a weapon, and where the person wielding it might just be the biggest joke of all. Well, folks, it looks like our favorite orange-tinted Twitter enthusiast just couldn't resist taking the bait. After John Oliver dropped his little sad bomb, Trump was quieter than a mouse in a library for about 5 minutes. Then boom, the tweet storm to end all tweet storms hit us like a Category 5 hurricane of crazy. Picture this, it's 3 a.m. and while normal people are dreaming of unicorns and pizza, Grumpy Trumpy is furiously tapping away at his phone. His first tweet, a real masterpiece of maturity, calling Oliver unfunny and taking cheap shots at his British roots. Real presidential stuff, right? But wait, there's more. Our man Donnie Diapers was just getting warmed up. He fired off a series of tweets that made Kafif look like Shakespeare. Get this, he actually wrote, "These thugs and radical left monsters have just indicated the 45th president of the United States." Indicated? I think he meant indicted. But hey, who needs spelling when you're the smartest guy in the room, right? And it just kept getting better. Trump went full caps lock, screaming into the void about how this was an attack on our country, the likes of which has never been seen before. Because you know, a British comedian making a joke is totally the same as Pearl Harbor or 9/11. Makes perfect sense if you don't think about it at all. But here's where it gets really wild. Our boy Trump, not content with just being a victim, decided to upgrade himself to superhero status. He started comparing himself to Lincoln and Einstein. Yeah, you heard that right. Apparently, in Trump's mind, telling people to inject bleach is on par with the theory of relativity. Who knew? Political analysts, probably trying not to laugh themselves silly, called this Trump's most extreme Twitter meltdown to date. It was like watching a toddler have a tantrum in the candy aisle, but instead of screaming for Skittles, he was demanding respect and adoration. The whole spectacle was a mix of all-caps rants, misspellings, and delusions of grandeur that had the public and media in stitches. It was comedy gold, folks. Late-night hosts were probably sending John Oliver thank you cards for providing them with enough material to last until the next election. But here's the kicker. While Trump was busy having his online meltdown, the rest of the world was watching, and boy, were they entertained. The reactions ranged from amused chuckles to full-on jaw drops. People couldn't believe that a former president was losing his marbles over a comedian's quip. It was like watching a reality TV show, but with higher stakes and lower IQs. Some commentators pointed out the absurdity of it all. Here's a guy who used to have the nuclear codes, and he's dedicating more energy to beefing with a late-night host than most people put into their day jobs. It was a real, is this real life? moment for a lot of folks. But it wasn't all laughs and giggles. Some political experts started wondering about the long-term effects of Trump's Twitter tirade. They were asking the big questions. Could this epic meltdown be the straw that breaks the camel's back for moderate voters? Will people finally realize that maybe, just maybe, a guy who can't handle a little ribbing might not be the best choice to lead the free world? Just when you thought Trump's Twitter meltdown couldn't get any more ridiculous, the internet said, "Hold my meme." While the grumpy Trumpy was busy throwing a digital tantrum, social media platforms exploded with a tsunami of jokes and memes. It was like watching a bunch of kindergartners discover finger paint for the first time. Messy, chaotic, and oh so colorful. The meme lords of the internet flexed their creative muscles, churning out content faster than Trump could hit the caps lock key. Twitter users started slapping sad onto random Trump quotes, creating a bizarro world where everything from "I have the best words" to "I know more about ISIS than the generals do" was suddenly followed by Trump's favorite put down. It was like watching a toddler try to insult himself. Adorably pathetic and hilariously ineffective. But the real MVP of this meme fest? Photoshop. Suddenly, images of a pouting Trump were popping up everywhere, looking like a toddler who just found out the ice cream truck was out of orange creamsicles. These pouty pics went viral faster than you can say fake news, proving once again that the internet's attention span might be short, but its memory for embarrassing moments is longer than Trump's tie. The late-night hosts, never ones to miss out on a good Trump roast, jumped on the bandwagon faster than you can say "Kafef." Stephen Colbert, king of the Trump burn, dubbed the whole fiasco Sadgate. It was like Christmas came early for these comedians. Santa Trump delivered a gift-wrapped scandal, complete with a big orange bow. But here's where it gets really wild. Even politicians decided to join the meme party. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, aka AOC, took a page out of Trump's playbook and tweeted "sad" right back at him. It was like watching your cool aunt try to use teen slang. Awkward, but you gotta give her points for effort. As the internet continued to have a field day with Trump's meltdown, folks started wondering, how long could this meme frenzy last? I mean, let's face it, the internet's attention span is shorter than Trump's fuse. Would this be just another flash in the pan, forgotten faster than Trump's promise to release his tax returns? But here's the kicker. The Trump said meme became the Energizer Bunny of political memes, outlasting even the most optimistic predictions. It was like the meme that refused to die, popping up months later whenever Trump did, well, anything. It became the gift that kept on giving, a constant reminder of the day Trump got a taste of his own medicine and found it bitterer than a cup of kafef. The May madness didn't just stay in the realm of random internet users either. Public figures and celebrities jumped on the bandwagon faster than Trump jumps to conclusions. Some were laughing their heads off, while others were shaking their heads at Trump's inability to take a joke. It was like watching a reality TV show where the star doesn't realize the cameras are rolling. Cringeworthy, but you just can't look away. And boy, did people engage with these memes? We're talking thousands of shares, likes, and retweets. It was like watching a virtual Mexican wave of mockery, sweeping across the internet faster than than Trump's hair in a strong wind. The public wasn't just amused, they were invested, turning this meme into a full-blown cultural moment. Well, folks, it looks like our old pal Donnie Diapers just can't catch a break these days. After John Oliver's spicy one-word takedown, the American people have spoken, and boy, do they have some thoughts. A whopping 61% of folks are saying thanks but no thanks to another Trump presidency. Ouch, that's gotta hurt worse than a toupee in a windstorm. But wait, there's more. Turns out, most Americans think the investigations into Trump are legit. Yep, 56% of people believe they're fair and square. Meanwhile, 41% are still crying witch hunt. Hey, at least someone's still on Team Grumpy Trumpy, right? In the end, it wasn't just Oliver's zinger that did the damage. It was Trump's own meltdown that really sealed the deal. Sometimes less really is more, especially when it comes to words. Who knew?